Welcome and thank you for joining us on the Birth Mother Matters in Adoption podcast with Kelly Rourke, where we delve into the issues of adoption from every angle of the adoption triad. Kelly is the executive director, president, and co-founder of Building Arizona Families Adoption Agency in Phoenix, Arizona, the Donna K. Evans Foundation, and the You Before Me campaign. She has a bachelor's degree in family studies and human development and a master's degree in education with an emphasis in school counseling. She was adopted when she was 3 days old. She was born to a teen birth mother, raised in a closed adoption, and reunited with her birth mother in 2007. Our goal with the Birth Mother Matters in Adoption podcast is to spread awareness and education about the beautiful choice that is adoption. And now, part 2 of Let the Love Shine with our special guests, Jason and Joe, and their adoption journey.
When you went to Arizona for the third time, and this time it was successful.
Yes.
What emotions were you feeling? I mean, it had to be like every emotion imaginable.
I remember I did get choked up at the airport gate asking to get on the plane. Like, I was trying not to cry. I was like, I think my baby's being born, but I don't know. Let's just go find out. And I definitely ran down the airport in my socks and got immediately into the boarding line. I probably just spent the entire flight in prayer because, I don't know how anyone adopts without a strong faith. It is such a leap of faith. Whether you believe in the Creator or not, it is a leap of faith because you really don't know. You don't know anything, and it's scary.
Do you think it was your faith that got both of you through up to the point of your daughter being born?
Sure.
Getting through two disruptions, and some people stop after one because it's too emotional, it's too difficult, and the fact that you went through two and continued to keep pursuing your dream of adoption.
Sure. The book of Ephesians talks about how God has adopted us, and that passage comes so alive when you go through it. And it also makes you realize how badly God wants everyone as his child, because at that point I was so desperate to be a mother. I was like, I just want any baby, give me a baby. Can I raise your baby? I wanted, and suddenly those passages made such sense, like the deep yearning desire to have a child. That's the only reason we could have kept going. There's no way I could have kept going without faith in it.
One statement, I've been doing this for over 20 years and in the adoption world, not to mention I was adopted and I have adopted, but I've been working with families for 20 years. And the most classic line is, you're going to wind up with a baby that you are meant to have.
Oh, for sure.
Okay. So you are of that, you subscribe to that.
I regularly tell people I have the child I would have given birth to. You're smirking over there, but you know it's true. She and I have the same personality. We are fighting our way through this life together now. If we can just stay on the same side, it works better. But she's definitely the child I would have had. She's hilarious.
One of the downsides of disruption is it can either put a lot of strain on someone's marriage or it can actually bring you closer. How did you get it to bring you closer and not put strain on your marriage?
I mean, all of these things, fertility problems, all these things would put a strain on a marriage. It starts with Jason and I are just best friends. I mean, you start out at the level of we're friends. And then after that, we can talk about hard things if we need to. And we do. But we just keep on, it's not an option for us. I guess is the straight answer. It's not an option for us. That's always been our outlook on marriage is we will work through this, whatever it takes.
And it sounds like you both had a very strong marital foundation going into this.
Yes, I think so.
Okay. Again, that's one thing that I've had married couples come to me and say, like, this is really taking a toll. Mm-hmm. And so I think any advice that can be given to them, like, this is something that we did, we maintained maybe date nights once a week, or we stepped it up and did X or Y, or, just to keep things going, because it can be really hard. I mean, it's in a lot of ways, a disruption is like a death.
Yes.
And that is incredibly hard on a marriage.
we've had friends that have gone through both miscarriage and disruption. We are blessed. We have not had to do both. But they have said it is a very similar grieving process. We just kept living. I mean, you can't, it's so easy when you're waiting to be matched to put your life on hold and say, oh no, we can't travel this way because what if we get a call to go to the hospital and we're out on vacation? You can't, and I had that same thought. You can't put your life on hold in any part of that process. Maybe when you're getting close to due date, sure. But you just got to live. You can't put anything on hold in that matter. But, it was a good time to, like I said, learn a new hobby and repaint rooms and get rid of, clean out the house and do all the things that a typical nesting woman would do.
So you're at the hospital, you're holding your daughter, Jason shows up. He then, I'm assuming, holds the baby, right?
Yeah, he came in. So she was born about 5:30 in the morning, and he came in around 6, 7 in the evening.
Yeah, drove all day. Get there.
So it was me and the baby hanging out for a bit. I got the band. Carly said, don't let the hospital hassle you. You have the band. And at one point they said, no, I don't think we can let you alone with her. And I said, I have the other band. Yes, you can. They said, well, we have to call somebody. I said, then call them because this baby is staying with me for right now. That was pre-COVID. So that was 2019. So we were able to have a separate room the first time around. So that was fun. And somewhere in the night when I was not sleeping well, some poor, nice soul nurse said, would you like me to take this baby to the nursery so you can sleep? And I said, yes, please. Yeah, you got there in the evening. But then he started feeling like he was coming down with a cold. So he was like, I'm not staying there with this baby right now because I don't want to spread germs. So
yeah.
So you got a little bit of practice with friends' babies, I guess.
All the babies. I'm a baby hog.
How did you do when it came down to holding yours for the first time? Did you feel totally comfortable, or were you scared, or?
Are you talking about me or him?
Jason. I kind of figure I know how you felt, but Jason sounds like you were a little nervous about holding the baby.
Oh, definitely. It was a new experience. My experience with newborns was very limited, so.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a niece and nephew too, but he had not been around a tiny baby.
Yeah, and I just remember, when it was time for us to leave the hospital, I'll never forget that day because I was just in disbelief that they were handing us this baby and we were just,
walking out with a baby.
It was time for us to walk out the door with this baby and thinking, are we qualified to take this baby home?
He said, are they good with us leaving? I said, I got the band. They can't stop me. I was like, I don't know about you, but yeah, it is a bizarre thing, especially, I don't know, since I don't know what it's like to leave a hospital with a bio child, but especially when you're leaving with someone else's child, it's like, we're walking out with your baby. Hope you're good with that. It is a bit bizarre. It's a bizarre scenario.
Okay, so you went home with the baby, and obviously your family and friends found out, right, that you were now parents, and you started settling into life as mom and dad. And then what happened next?
That was the end of 2019. So then I got to tell you, as hard as 2019 was, 2020 didn't faze me one bit. Emotionally, I was like, whatever. I got to stay home and play with the baby. Cool. I don't know how I would have reacted to the pandemic prior to that, but 19 was so bad. I was like, nothing can top 19, so we can handle whatever happens now. I'm very blessed that I get to stay home with my baby. I didn't know what to do with a newborn. That was an interesting learning curve. And then everything being closed also was not helpful. But then, then in the summer, we got this message, and she said she was pregnant again.
So wait, we're talking about the summer of 2020.
The summer of 2020.
So you'd had baby at home for 6-7 months.
Uh-huh. And I said, babe, you need to read this from her. That was July when we got that first message from her. And yeah, by September, there's Carly popping up on my phone again. And we immediately were like, yes, we would love to have the sibling, even though we were not prepared to adopt again so quickly.
Well,
so no hesitation at all, just jumping right back in onto the roller coaster.
Right.
But
And this is something we had anticipated. We knew it was a very real possibility that there would be siblings, but we didn't expect it that quickly.
Not that quickly.
Is this a full sibling?
As far as we know, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then, so we're talking 14 months later, baby number 2 was born. And we get out to Arizona, unfortunately, 3 weeks too early.
Yeah, that's a whole nother story, a whole nother saga.
Yeah, we were there 3 weeks before the baby was born.
But there's lots to do in Arizona. There's lots.
Yeah, but I had already done a lot of it, you know.
Okay.
So on the 4th trip to Arizona, this time we all drove because we had a baby with us and we did not want to fly. And Jason noticed I was having a bad attitude again. And he said, come on now. I said, we're in Phoenix again. This is the 4th time we've been in Phoenix in like 2.5 years. It's a long drive out there. I don't like riding in the car. And he said, no, come on. We have happy memories from Arizona now too. And I said, yeah, we do. So we did. We took our firstborn to the zoo. We did all the things waiting. And then they told us birth father is going to be in delivery. And that took me by surprise.
What? Can we back up a little bit?
Sure.
I didn't know if you were going to get to this, but at one point during that 3-week period, in fact, the week before our second
he was fixing to fly home because he needed to work.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but birth mom basically went AWOL.
She disappeared.
And so for me, that was significant for me because it just brought back the memories of the first couple of disruptions. And it was a long few days, a long week of not knowing what was going to happen. And that was tough.
So Carly was standing strong. She's like, no, this is normal. Everything's fine. It's okay. This happens. Sometimes I get a little out of communication. I was like, Carly, y'all need to find her. And they're like, we will find her. It'll be okay. But yeah, it did send us into a panic. But the main thing was Carly kept saying, she's not going to disrupt. This would cause you already have one of her children. She chose you on purpose. She chose you again. It would cause, tremendous rift with y'all if she were to do something like that. And I was like, okay, yes, these are all logical things. But yeah, emotionally, it did open that can back up for us because now we're, again, trapped in Arizona, just waiting. So the second time round, now we're fully in the pandemic. This is January of 21. So the hospital is locked down and you can only have one visitor. They bent all the rules for me. I came into the security guard, like the nurses knew I was coming. I got to the security station and he said, who are you here to visit? I said, well, I'm the adoptive mom for, and he just stopped me and he goes, right, go. Okay. So I'm walking through this hospital. It's like everybody knew who I was. I come into labor and delivery. It was very bizarre. The hospital staff was very kind and loving. We did have to stay in the same room that time, so that was interesting again. And I'd already been in the hospital all night with her once before, so I knew all the quirks that were going to happen there, and trying to just be loving and supportive. I will say this: I wish someone had told me how you are supposed to interact with a birth mother in that scenario. I'm not like naturally super friendly. It takes a lot of effort. So I didn't know. I was like, how do you talk to this woman? What do you talk about? So I've told other people, it's kind of like going to meet a relative you've never met before. So it's like that long lost cousin or uncle or aunt that you've never actually met. So you kind of have a relationship with them, but you kind of don't. So it's kind of awkward, but you're trying to build a relationship with this person. And of course, there's a lot of insecurities on my part because I need this woman to like me. I need this woman not to disrupt on me,
During her second pregnancy with you, were you guys talking a lot during this time?
We talked a lot on the first one. I don't remember. We do have a good story on the first time. The very first time we talked on the phone, we had been told, listen, sound excited, sound happy. They were warning me. It was really to me. They're like, don't sound sad. And I thought I had faked it really good on the phone, but I had not. And so when we got off the phone, she said to her social worker, they didn't sound like they were very excited. And so then the social worker had to explain to her what we had been through. And bless her heart, she was so understanding and empathetic towards us about what we had been through that the next time we talked to her, she was like, you don't have to worry about that with me. She was trying to be reassuring to us, which in the grand scheme of it is silly. We should be reassuring her. We're here for you. So the second time in the hospital, I said to her, I'm so thankful and so blessed that you thought of us, that you wanted us, that you asked for us, that you trust us. I'm so, so glad that you asked us for this second precious baby. I said, but girl, I'm getting too close to 40. You can't keep doing this to me.
So that's a good question. What happens if there's another sibling?
I am going to leave that in God's hands.
Did you, now when you were able to take the second baby home from the hospital or to the wherever you were staying, did you do a visit with her?
Yes. Yes. We got to, I got to meet so many family members. So the first time we were there, I got to meet her mother, one of her brothers, two of birth father's sisters. They were so kind. They were so sweet. And I asked them if I could take pictures with them and the baby. And they all were like, yes, because we made a book of our daughter's Arizona family. These are your Arizona family members so that we can show it to her when she understands, like, look, this is with their names and who they are. And so I got to meet all of them. And then the second trip, I got to meet birth father. He was very polite to me. He's very tall. I didn't expect that. He's very tall, which I'm glad, because the girls are going to be tall.
Yeah.
So I was excited they got some height in them. And we got to meet some other relatives at the meetings. In our house, we just use adoption like, hey, this is a thing. You've got a lot of friends who have been adopted. It's normal. You have two families that love you. Just one part of your family lives in Arizona. We don't try to make it into anything. It's just kind of a neutral thing. I think she said to me the other day something about wanting a brother. And I was like, well, we'll let the Lord handle all that. So
looking back now that you've gone through 2 disruptions and 2 placements,
mm-hmm.
What do you wish you could have told yourself going through those disruptions?
It'll be okay. It'll be okay. Yeah, it hurts. It stinks. It's awful. But it'll be okay. She was a great baby. She was a very spicy toddler. We're working on our big girl status right now, doing a little better. She blows me away with how amazing she is as a kid. And I call our second baby our bonus baby. We have our baby and our bonus baby. The bonus baby is a total comedian. She is hilarious and beautiful and just a total trip. Everything about my life has never gone according to any plan I have ever made. So I don't know why that surprises me when it doesn't again. But that's faith, right? That things will be okay. And we will be okay with whatever the things are. Because you can't control what happens to you, but you can control your attitude. So if I had to go back to talk to myself, part of it would be like, stop sulking, get over it. Grieve appropriately. Take the time to grieve, because it is like a death, and that's okay. It's okay to grieve that, and it's okay not to have to explain it to everyone in your family, because they're not going to understand it at all. No matter how many times you've tried to explain this process to them, they're not going to understand it, and that's okay. What do you think?
I would tell myself back then that it'll be okay. I think you said it best. I don't think I have anything else to add.
Do you have, either of you, any advice for adoptive parents that are either going through a disruption or maybe have just been through one and they're really struggling with it?
Find your adoptive friends. If you don't have any, you can find some through BAF. I'm sure they can connect people. You find your tribe, because the people who've already gone through there, they understand, and they'll cry with you, and they'll pray for you over the phone. They'll strengthen you through it and tell you, listen, yeah, I understand. It still bothers them too. It still bothers me. It's a scar on your heart, and it's a permanent scar. But like all grief, your heart gets bigger, and your grief goes in the box until, sometimes the box gets open, but you will get through. But it is finding a therapist that actually understands adoption, and finding your tribe that have been there, have done that, and are currently raising their children because they've gotten to the other side successfully.
You guys have an amazing story. I hope you realize how powerful it really is.
Thank you. It's a good time to adopt. And here's why I say this. I think in previous generations, adoption was so hush-hush because it was probably usually either unmarried women or teenagers, and it was the shame on the family. So everything about adoption was hush-hush, shame, don't talk about it. That's not the case anymore. People are shocked when we told them, no, and the profiles, it's like 99% adult women. It's not teenagers. It's adults who are just at a horrible crossroads of circumstances and choices, and they are now making this brave, selfless choice that I can't imagine the scar on her heart. With all the DNA stuff, you're never going to keep a secret anymore. So it's a good time now to let the love shine. It's not, oh, hush, hush, secret, your mom's really your aunt, or your mom's really your grandmother, or it's none of this stuff anymore. It's, you have two families that love you. One who made a very hard choice. It's more about the love. Let's learn from these circumstances and not repeat them. And let's make better choices, and let's build family in that way.
We have a pregnancy crisis hotline available 24/7 by phone or text at 623-695-4112, or you can reach us on our toll-free number 1-800-340-9665. We can make an immediate appointment with you to get you to a safe place, provide food and clothing, and help you get started on creating an Arizona adoption plan, or just give you more information. Check out our blogs on our website at azpregnancyhelp.com and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter by looking for AZ Adopt Podcast. If you enjoy this podcast, make sure to rate and review us on whatever platform you use to listen to us, and tell your friends about us. The Birth Mother Matters in Adoption podcast was written and produced by Kelly Rourke and edited by me. Thanks go out to Grapes for letting us use their song I Don't Know as our theme song. Join us next time on Birth Mother Matters in Adoption. For Kelly Rourke, I'm Ron Rains, and we'll see you then.